Welcome to the blockchain basement. This is where I can get a little bit extra on all of the things in the world that are happening, but also crypto, right? Bitcoin's worst case scenario. We'll take a look at it, do some game theory on it, what it might do to price, say if they raise interest rates, if Kevin Warsh makes good on his background. This guy's been a hawk about raising interest rates. He would rather raise interest rates as inflation is increasing, which is the financially responsible thing to do. But we have good things going on in terms of economic activity. So we'll take a look at this, all that and more on today's show. Plus, all of the crazy accusations that are coming out against CZ on his 1010 involvement. Ooh, there's some things going on there. And of course, this is all a friend of the channel, CZ. First of all, friend of the channel, CZ. Okay. We're going to take a look at some of the allegations coming out against Justin Sun, another major friend of the channel. So give us a like, give us a share, give us a follow. We're going to get frisky with it. We are going to get frisky with it on this show. This is what I do. You know what I mean? I can bring my true thoughts to you here. Make sure to follow me here. I'm going to reorganize this. I wonder, let's see here. This is the right tabs. Let's go like this. There we go. Oh, snap. I've fixed my studio somehow so I can have the full view here. That's actually fantastic. So follow me at Drew Weidert on X. I am in a new studio for the time being, just trying it out, checking it out. Let me know what you think. I think that this is a nicer backdrop. I do think that this is a nicer backdrop. I'm having some fun in a new spot. You know, sometimes you just got to shake it up a little bit. Sometimes you just got to shake it up a little bit. Bought Bitcoin at 4K. ETH at $108. I ain't buying here. Let me know what prices you're looking for on Bitcoin to be a buyer. Man, I'm broken. Psychedelic astronaut is broken. Fuck. FCZ, that's right. Looking for a loan on money. You know, and this is a weird time for me because I'm moving and I'm having to like do some major projects on the house. And, you know, I am digging in because crypto is my savings account. And I'm still well up on what remains in my bags. And I have no problem taking that money and bettering my life actively, but I am in the mood of buying right now, regardless of the stuff that I'm having to do. And every time I need to get a new truck, got the Sequoia, that's like at least the short-term top. So, you know, it is the way it is. Apparently God has my back because every single time I have to do that, the market's giving a great entry point. Now, this is crazy. What's going on in America right now. Actually, I have to start off with this. There's a mass level of confusion going on. This is almost like the Bitcoin bears calling for zero. People are taken to the streets. And it's almost like this chick feels like she's some sort of like superhero in one of those Marvel PSYOP videos that you've seen, you know, or some of those Netflix videos. She literally thinks that she's a superhero. Absolutely insane. Civil unrest is going on in the United States, where people want to admit it or not. It is what it is. It's the situation we are at in the U.S. You can hate it or love it, but this is where we're at, folks. And you know, I'll call a spade a spade. Let's check this out. Let's check out a coin market cap real quick. So we are at a 15. We are at extreme fear. Okay, extreme fear. I have to reorganize. This is the new studio kinks. I got a kink in this studio. Set that up a little bit better. So extreme fear at a 15, right? We've spent a long time in these extreme fear levels. Crazy to see Canton, but also River stable. XDC is up big. Stacks is up big. But honestly, this ain't nothing. Stacks was trading well above this, so not too terribly long ago. Morpho is refusing to lose ground. Morpho is refusing to lose in general its ground. Hyperliquid is pumping on the week. So huge shout out to that. And honestly, like Hyperliquid is the only decentralized exchange that I am going to fuck with here. There is another decentralized exchange that I went into. Literally, you know, maybe they're in beta, whatever the hell. My eyes have been really open on this industry. It makes me happy for, in aggregate, fudding a lot of things. But there are literal thieves that have the veneer of these centralized exchanges that are out there extracting as much money as they can and being really weird right now. So, shout out to that. I'm going to consolidate my crash out moments, I think, to Thursday or Friday, because all these people hit me up. They love the angry Drew. I don't want to live in a realm of anger, even though it's constantly there, but I will selectively release that on Thursdays or Fridays. But let's check out the altcoins here. Let's see here. So Solana at $105, Cardano at 30 cents. I remember the last time that Cardano was at 36 or 30 cents, rather, just below 30 cents. TJ came down to the basement, talked me off the ledge, because I was like, Cardano feels like it's going to zero, but TJ came down, and after that day, Cardano went on that crazy, crazy run above $1. On the year, man, it's been painful. Cardano is at extremely low levels. It was noted on the morning show that Hoskinson is going wolf mode. He's selling his Black Hawk. He's selling all his Lamborghinis. God bless. God bless. Maybe he realized that he's not on the inside club of this new crypto American empire, and he's going to try to build something else big. He is the developer, one of the founders of Ethereum. So the guy knows his stuff. It's been kind of interesting watching Cardano. I currently am out of it. I got out at about $1. Kind of same thing as Ondo. But I was still well up on Aerodrome and Morpho to be able to get that damn Sequoia. And I just had to be a little bit insulative. The ones that are giving me FOMO on getting back into, because I am going to be buying this week, it is Aero, it is Morpho, it's Tau, it's Solana, I don't have a giant bag of all these different coins that I'm having FOMO to get back into, but those are the projects that I'm feeling in my heart are looking really, really strong right now. So I will actually, while I'm on the Cardano narrative, I want to look at where midnight is. Look at where midnight is. See if it's been pumping. So it's about 4.8 cents. God, this is almost like an ICP release. It's at 45 cents. Where was it at 45 cents? All right, so let's check this out on TradingView. Because I remember 4.5 was that mark of just general price defense after the release. They really screwed this chart up with that original release data. But yeah, 4.5 cents is kind of that original shelf. It'll be interesting to see if Night can maybe make a rise. And the reason why Night is on my mind is I am seeing some of the privacy coins doing better than others, just in general, primarily Zcash and Monero, right? So we're seeing some privacy coin interest. Privacy coins are holding up their prices better than a lot of other projects. Go look at Zcash first. $2.99, about 300 buckaroos, about $3.50. Let's go to this. Zcash is actually at this original pump 2 moment. Zcash is at that pump 2 moment of $300 right now. And then Monero, $400. Monero is more of like new all-time high zone than Zcash is, but it pumped to $800 before this pullback. Shout out to the silver holders as well. Shout out to the silver holders for being able to experience the 40% dip along with crypto. Fantastic work for everyone that went and top blasted silver and is now having to apply at McDonald's just the same as the rest of the top blasters in crypto. But let's actually go look at silver right now, because silver it's been giving people whiplash. And it's so funny. That's what people want to hear about, right? Silver, after it goes on like a whatever 200 or 300% run, that's $78 an ounce. It's still way more. I mean, this thing was just at $21 an ounce, right? So let's keep everything in context. And this is Hillbilly TA. This is easy to see. You'd have some price defense, some turbulence here at the $78 mark. John Dalton, interestingly enough, John Dalton in our Discord was able to call literally the exact expected peak of silver at the $120 mark. So flowers to you, John, on that. I mean, that is not an easy thing to predict at all. and now we're seeing a major pullback. In general, silver from local high to where we're at right now, down 34%. Not surprised. The more cataclysmic thing to really acknowledge in this is trillions and trillions of dollars getting shaved off of a market cap in the span of just a day's time, which should tell us in crypto, we've been sitting here getting our heads beat in for months, if not a year. Good things can come quickly to crypto because we're a much smaller market. Gold and silver lost $10 trillion of market cap. In general, I think we're even below $3 trillion for the entire market cap of crypto. And you have to keep in mind, a lot of this market cap of crypto, which is at $2.6 trillion right now, is made up in stable coins. Tether makes up $185 billion of that market cap. You have USDC making up $70 billion of that market cap. Stable coins and the stable coin super cycle that's been going on right now do account for a vast majority of these the market cap of crypto right now, which kind of crazy to think about, but it's the ugly reality we got to acknowledge here. So these are the things. And you guys in the chat, are you in the mood for buying? Are you battening down the hatches? Like my personal situation of buying a new house and wanting to get my dream car is my own personal situation. And it's, different goals that I built up for myself. But I'm curious if you guys are buying or kind of basically battening down the hatches and waiting for lower prices. That's kind of the thing I'm curious about for folks, because how I've been able to do well in crypto is by buying low. It's crazy to see people kind of checking out when we're actually entering good things in the market. Shout out to you, Deucey. Shout out to Deucey. I called you. I'm not going to go into this too bit, but trading can get crazy quick. I'm happy. I'm happy for your tether, Deucey. I'm very, very happy, and I'm very glad for you. Really, really kind of volatile timeframes that we've been going through the last few months here. So the biggest losers, let's see if we can find any good deals. Monero's only down by 4.8%. I do like Monero. I'm wearing Monero socks currently. Let's see here. Not really any like huge deals. Let's see if we can look a little bit larger time frame. So on the 7-day, River's down by 74%. OP, SWE is at like $1. I have family that have really like bugged me about SWE. So SWE is part of like the family portfolio, I guess you could say. I'm a little bit cautious on it. Like I'd like to see an aggregate higher low created on SWE. Chainlink making a little bit of a move up, but it's down 16% on the week. Chainlink is not immune to the bigger pullback, you guys. It is an altcoin. It has, even though they've been buying Link for the treasury, this thing is still very much so tied to the rest of the altcoin sector. But its chart looks basically like Tau, like Solana, like a lot, like even like XRP defending the $2 mark. This $9 mark for Chainlink is basically the same thing. And that 10-10 washout is proving to be a pretty sticky interest point where a lot of buyers are starting to step in, right? Where we saw that 10-10 wick end up. Kind of like where we're seeing a lot of these different altcoins pull back too. Just holding my Johnson and waiting out the bear while DCing as usual. That's a pretty based approach to this, Zachary. That is a pretty based approach. $9 Link like Viagra. Yeah, I mean, Chainlink is Chainlink is tapping the top end of the range where, my interest is peaked. Now, I'm in a different situation and I got to make some moves with the house and stuff. So my $3.90 Chainlink isn't horrible if I have to do house renovations, things like that. But honestly, the top end of this channel at $8.50 roughly, not a bad spot. This general Chainlink price defended itself in the last, and this is where we kind of knew we were looking for the lows of, it was the highs in February of 2020 at $5. We got those entry points September, kind of like the later part of 2023. I was able to pad out the bags. But I have a completely different approach to Chainlink because the original buy and the majority of the bag was done at $1.90, $1.80, right? This zone right now it does look very similar to Solana, very similar to XRP. If we do see Bitcoin bounce in aggregate from the zone, this is basically just going to be a higher low when it's all said and done. So let's get into the stories. I've been looking at charts a lot. Let's look into the stories here. Isaac sent you here. Isaac is a savage and a gentleman, Fish Buoy. God bless Isaac. God bless Isaac. Check out this portfolio. Sleepy Hollow, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, Aave, Tau, Ondo, Arrow portfolio overall down by 6.9%. That is tis but a scratch and not a bad portfolio at all. That's actually a pretty nice that's a pretty nice portfolio setup. Mark, yeah, Mark is absolutely set. Yeah, Isaac is probably a super soldier by now. I'm not going to be surprised. Now, FUD taking over the timeline, and I'm going to have bearish headlines as the market's taking this kind of haircut because we're a crypto channel that enjoys having viewers, and viewers click on things that are scary right now. So it is what it is. But it's taken over social media following the 16% decline since January 28th after falling into a low of $74,600. Man, when you see this level of bearish posts, though, you see rallies right after it. And we are deep FUD, deep fear zone right now. I did put this up just in case we get a tick lower on Bitcoin. There are no atheists at $65,000 Bitcoin. There are no atheists at $65,000 Bitcoin, just like there are no atheists in the trenches as you're getting shelled. This is the time frame of max fear. Now, a common denominator with every crash in crypto's history, there's always this end of crypto narrative that always becomes a rounding error in the long run. Same thing will happen at the 2025 to 26 bear market. And honestly, guys, previous market highs on Bitcoin, that $70,000 mark usually and have ended up being the bounce point and marking the lows of what they call the bear market. We simply have a different metric right now. The cost to produce a Bitcoin is 4 times higher than it was when we were at the lows of 2022. These are metrics that a lot of people aren't taking into account when they're looking at Bitcoin's price. Where can price go? They're forgetting to add in how much does Bitcoin cost to produce. Very, very important metric to keep in mind. So funny. I have this antivirus thing that says that the arena is just an exploiter website. So hopefully that's not true. Thank you for the tip, NFA, not financial advice. Appreciate you. Beathy, appreciate you. I'm the best. You're the best, Beathy. Shout out to you out there in the arena, dropping the tips. Now, cover this slightly with the ISM data, the PMI data for the United States, the manufacturing information. It's coming in. It's coming back with a vengeance. And we are seeing green and a higher level than we've seen in months, more than a half a year here in the United States. This is giving me that cautious optimism that, goddamn, this economy is about to turn over. Shout out to silver investors. This is the feel. This is the vibe. They're crying. We're looking over at them. Crypto investors down 95%. Just kind of, oh yeah, get used to it, baby. This is the volatility we're in here for. Now, Trump launched a $12 billion mineral stockpile to counter China. It would have been absolutely hilarious to see Trump do a stockpile of XRP and Cardano at local highs and then be down by hundreds of billions of dollars. I knew it was a bad idea. When we were seeing it. And also, I wonder how a lot of those digital asset treasury companies that were stockpiling altcoins are doing right now. Probably not too great. Tom Lee is sweating as he's getting ready to do Squawk Box today. We're seeing some insiders within Wall Street dumping stocks. 1,000 executives at U.S. listed companies have sold their shares in January compared to just 207 buyers within that same group. This pushes the ratio of insider sellers to buyers up to 4.8, the highest since February 2021 and the second highest since COVID of 2020. The ratio has more than doubled since November of 25. So this is an important side note, is the second highest ratio reading of this was actually during the COVID dip when we were setting up for that macro bounce, right? Insiders increasingly concerned about escalating geopolitical tensions, valuations, and potentially unsustainable AI capital expenditures. I will say that AI is going to be a bumpy road. It's not easy to just throw a dart at any Oracle company or anything like that and expect a massive, massive return. We are going into the great unknown. Bitcoin is a disruptive asset class with an extreme potential to replace a lot of what we know as monetary movement in the world. But asterisk, there is a cycle that's being highlighted by the next Federal Reserve Governor, Kevin Warsh, that we have to acknowledge. Let's have a listen to this and kind of dissect it.
Greg's question. This is our Reagan moment. It was 44 years ago at a time like this. President's in office, the media's giving him hell. He's shaking up the establishment. He inherits a mess. People don't like what he's doing. There's some gauzy history about how easy it was. French can speak to it better than I. It wasn't easy. And this is that moment. This is that hinge point in history that we see every couple of generations. Doesn't make it going to be easy. Doesn't mean that every decision's obvious, but it's super exciting. So that's my thank you to the Reagan folks. And what George would say is the broad conduct of government policy doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, even in the heyday of the Reagan era, it never was. Government policy just can't be too destructive. And if we can achieve that, the US economy will be in great shape. The problem over the course of the last several years is government policy has been too destructive to banks, too destructive to individual liberty in the post-COVID era, too destructive of technology and innovation. If over the course of the next few years, we can just try to arrest most of that destruction, what we used to describe in economics as the micro foundations of macroeconomics. This has nothing to do with the brilliant conduct of monetary policy or fiscal policy. The micro foundations are what matter. And what is that a fancy word for? The culture of this country. The willingness to work hard, take a risk, have it fail, and try again. Everybody, no matter where you're from, there's no stigma associated with your station. You try to make it, and other people don't say, well, you're too big for your britches. This is not an American birthright, but it's why the US economy has chronically outperformed from 1946 until this very day. But if we do harm to those micro foundations, we decide we just want to try to hold on to what we've got. We let some of the things that are most important, like stable prices, eat at the conscience and the integrity of an opportunity society. Well, we're going to be no better off than a lot of these countries with whom we're trading with. That's why this moment is such an important moment. That's why getting policy right at this inflection point, like we haven't seen in 44 years, is huge. And if we do that, the 21st century will be our century. I'm not so worried about the other guys on the other side of the ocean. They're not doing a lot to motivate their technology sector. They are not freeing their people to create and innovate. A lot of them want to come to the US where they can do their best work. If we can focus on what we do best and try to copy someone else's 5-year plan, we're going to be just fine. So while this might seem like a scary moment for a lot of us hanging around government and the private sector, this is the best opportunity we've had. And I have a parochial American view. If the US does well and can get through this inflection point as well as President Reagan did 44 years ago, our allies are going to love us like never before, and our adversaries will be scared of us. The essential thing is that we grow during this period. And if we do, that'll take care of a lot of the problems that are subjecting us and causing us to think that this is a period of malaise.
He just said a lot that I got to digest here. So Kevin Warsh and his history painted a pretty hawkish approach to inflation, right? It painted an approach where he would raise interest rates given the opportunity if inflation was returning. But on the same hand, and right after that, he's now highlighting how effective the Reagan administration was at dealing with essentially stagflation in the United States. That's the ugly word he didn't want to say during that interview. It's stagflation, where you have no economic growth for a system that's based upon the necessity for constant economic growth to continue operating, right? So thinking about this is actually really, really interesting to me. A chart that we can go back that has a lot of historical context to this is silver. So let's actually just pull up silver for this context. Let's see how this looks. No, I don't know how good. I want to make this bigger. Still feeling out this new. I'm going to leave it like this. I'm going to leave it like this. So these are on weekly candles, and this visualization gives you a snapshot view of the time frame that Kevin Warsh is talking about. And it was the economy came to a seizure moment where basically it didn't start wobbling all over the place, but it basically stopped turning over. The buyers buyers backed out, the production overproduced. We ended up with a bunch of goods that weren't being purchased because the economy hit a standstill, right? And this was the stagflationary explosion of silver's value. And silver rose, along with the help of the Hunt brothers, back in this time phrase by 560%. Now, what silver just did was a very notable pump, right? I mean, silver just pumped from this kind of accumulation or getting ready to pump by about 275%. It did not accomplish everything that it did in the 79 to 80 era, but you have to keep in mind there was a lot of there's a lot of manipulation that played into the silver portion of stagflation. Kevin basically just said he agrees with the monetary approach that Reagan took in the stagflationary event of 79 to 80. This is actually telling me that though he has had that, kind of hawkish approach in his previous literature, he's willing to cut interest rates into inflation and grow our way out of this the same way that the Reagan era did, the same way that Trump is asking these regulators to do in this current environment. This is very, very interesting to me because it kind of flips the narrative on its head of him being a hawk in the situation that we're in here in the United States. So I also wanted to give an honorary mention to Finance a Lot for putting this video out here. It's a pretty interesting video to look at. Shocked to hear that the new Federal Reserve Chairman, Kevin Warsh, talked about the 45-year cycle yesterday. Also shocked to hear him admit that we're entering a new economic system, and this is our Reagan moment. He never admits stuff like this unless it's already underway. 45-year cycle began in 1980 and ended in November 2025. The previous 45-year cycle began in 1933. 1933, gold confiscations, gold-backed dollar, new backing to the fiat currency, the world reserve currency in that time frame, and ended right after we ended the gold reserve, right? After we ended the gold standard, early 70s, that 45-year cycle came to a close. This is signaling that we are in an extreme time for change. And is it going to be nice and cozy and simple and easy to understand? Absolutely not. Why you come to the blockchain basement for the historical context of macroeconomic environments, because that's the edge that we've had here in the basement, is understanding those macroeconomic data points, while rest of crypto is basically, I saw a lot of people on Twitter posting about it, so I'm going to buy it. We avoid that mess. We don't fall for the insider groups. We look at macroeconomic data and the general movement of how money is flowing to understand what the next few years are going to look like. Now, Bitmine, hammering in, continuing to buy, bought 41,000 ETH over the past week. The firm now holds 4.2 million Ethereum, and this is roughly 3.6% of the total supply. Sounds pretty sketchy to me, but there's more. So Bitmine, unrealized ETH losses rise to $6.6 billion and is now on track to become the fifth largest documented principal trading loss in history. If sold, unrealized losses now sitting at 66% of the size of our KJOs in 2021, the largest loss ever recorded. This is absolutely crazy to see the amount of losses that they're sitting on right now. And this is a live visual of Tom Lee showing up to Squawk Box this morning, going down the stairs as everything is exploding on him. Tom Lee's going to stand on his business. Ethereum is not going to die. With the amount of tokenization that these organizations plan to do and already are doing, and the use case of fracturing liquidity so that they can use that liquidity to invest in other disruptive technologies, makes all the sense in the world. Real question, and I was talking to TJ about this, and it's a really, really good point, is does Bitcoin stand to become that new world reserve currency setup, or is it tokenized gold, right? Gold has had many more years to be treated as a trusted kind of store of value. Bitcoin is the disruptive teenager in the room that's trying to be that guy, that's trying to grow up to be that guy. So it's interesting to think about, but I think at the very minimum, Bitcoin's going to have a small chunk of becoming a world reserve asset as the Bretton Woods 2.0 World War III scenario continues to play out. Now, this is absolutely crazy about CZ, and this is why I made the thumbnail that I did today. This is crazy. So starts off with Justin Sun and a spiteful ex-girlfriend. That's how it always goes, right? This is bear market vibes. Bear market vibes. So Justin Sun's girlfriend is going scorched earth on Justin and CZ. This is from Leonidas saying it's 10 times worse than we imagined. Exchanges like Binance have been colluding with projects like Tron to build a massive paid KOL network. This is exactly like Aster, right? This is exactly like Aster in order to manipulate markets and insider trade. This is the post here. A significant portion of KOLs in Chinese crypto space are, in fact, anonymous signal calling accounts. They work closely with project teams to release so-called calls when a price pump is nearing its end. Once these calls are issued, large numbers of retail investors buy in, after which the project teams begin dumping and harvesting those profits. Many projects funded by the Chinese founders operate in the exact same way, and these KOL networks typically sign annual framework agreements and non-disclosure agreements with the project teams, with fees ranging from 100 USDT to I think this should be 20,000 USDT per post or collaboration. When a project or its founder encounters a public relation crisis, these KOLs hide behind the anonymous accounts to smear, credit, and frame those who speak out. Meanwhile, countless retail investors are driven into bankruptcy, left with nowhere to seek help, and subjugated to further humiliation on top of their financial losses. And God damn it, this is why I refuse to be non-dox. This is why I stand on my business. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. This industry is full of these absolute shitbags that will hide behind a veneer of anonymity, know that they're taking money from a project that's going to dump on the people they're advertising to, and don't say a fucking word about it and let it happen. This is disgusting. This needs to stop. And why most of these vaporware projects and fake decentralized platforms deserve literal decimation and to never come back to the industry. They absolutely deserve every piece of the pain that's about to come to the altcoin sector as the vaporware is realized, as people have wisened up, as retail is completely out of the picture. It's all institutions. You're going to see a mass extinction event, right? But the insider KOL networks, they're going to continue, right? They're going to find their little dark corners. They're going to continue, right? So it's my job to continue calling out these shit rats. Absolutely. And you're going to see some changes, right? You're going to see me do things that won't make sense. Like, why would Drew cut this person out or that person out? It's because they're part of the shit rat industry. They're part of the evil people that are behind the scenes dumping on the unsuspecting retail as they're, oh, this project is so great. Meanwhile, they know that the team is dumping. This shit needs to stop. And you're going to see me call it out and continue. I will never stop. That is a big reason why I run this channel, is because it's my place to expose the bullshit, to explode all over the industry, and to let everyone know where the sketchy shit is happening. Now, with this girlfriend allegation, Justin Sun's girlfriend exposing him for identity fraud and large-scale price manipulation of the Tron token on Binance. Oh, wow. That sounds surprising, right? CZ's closest ally is about to go down with him. And now, but wait, there's more. There's more. So, and this is why you can listen to, different ideas and different people, but when push comes to shove and you really look for the rubber to meet the road, you're going to expose who's swimming naked. You're going to expose who's swimming naked. And this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. So OKX CEO Star U says that the October 10th liquidation event wasn't an accident. and points directly at irresponsible marketing practice by major players. His argument is in plain terms. Binance promoted USDE, it's Athena, stablecoin with high yield, treated it like USDT and USDC, even though USDE is not a traditional stablecoin. It embeds hedge fund level risks. Users were encouraged to swap the USDT and the USDC into this Athena stablecoin USDE. Use that USDE as collateral and then borrow more stablecoins against it. Oh boy, what could go wrong? Then you loop the trade for higher yielding APYs. That leverage stack pushed 24% to 70% APYs. When you see an APY like this, you know that some sketchy shit's happening in the background. You just know it, right? Created systemic risk, and once volatility hit, the USDE token depegged, triggering a cascading liquidation event across the market. StarU says that the damage was worse than FTX in terms of market structure impact, and it absolutely was. It absolutely was. It seems like Luna all over again, doesn't it? It absolutely does. So it absolutely does. And yeah, we know someone's behind this, DCA and Prey. Someone is asking DCA and Prey to get banned. Like, I'll ban people for fun. I'll deport scammers in the chat. I'll deport scammers from the show. But DCA and Prey is one of the realest motherfuckers out there. We are never banning DCA and Prey. No matter how angry or how low his price targets are, I don't care. I love you, guy. So now let's look at this. He's not calling it an attack. He's calling this a risk management failure with an industry-wide consequence. This is a rare moment for one major exchange CEO to publicly call out a systemic risk, not price action, worth reading carefully. This is very, very informative to me. This is very strong for me in terms of confluence. So I had this gut feeling they were behind it. I had this gut feeling they were behind it. The CEO of OKX is coming out saying the same shit. And it literally just the flatline understanding that 70% of all liquidity across exchanges is being provided by Binance is a absolute systemic risk in and of itself. Beyond all the insider stuff, beyond all these paid KOL, cuck organizations, just the fact that we have a 70% concentration of liquidity for all exchanges coming from Binance is a problem in and of itself. This needs to be fixed. This 100% needs to be fixed. And I'm here for it. If they must burn it down and we cascade to levels we couldn't even imagine on Bitcoin, but we get these scammers out of the industry, let the arrows fly. That's what I say. Let the arrows fly. Now, in the United States, we have some things going on the legislation side. The White House calling crypto and banks to the table, meeting these firms at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, just about 8 minutes from now, to discuss the crypto market structure bill. The talk aims to break a deadlock over how stablecoin yields should be treated, and attendees are including Coinbase, Ripple, Circle, and Wall Street banking groups such as American Bankers Association. The only thing, like, I don't care. I'm not going to go look at Ripple's price. I'm not going to go look at XRP's price. What I do care about is Circle, because Circle has been absolutely bludgeoned in terms of price on Wall Street. I feel like USDC is setting itself up to be what we call a CBDC here in the United States. I think the connections that USDC has built for itself leave it as a strong potential that USDC is going to be what we call now a central bank digital currency. Very, very likely in my mind. So let's actually hop on over to the Circle chart and see if we have an opportunity here. Circle, CRCL, is the ticker. And I know that this thing was getting just beat down. Let's see how, oh my God, we are below and like release levels. Oh my God. I want to buy this. Fuck crypto and altcoin. If I'm Bitcoin, Tether, maybe some Chainlink, some Morpho, some Arrow, some Tau, I want Circle. This is sold off to all get out. Circle's going to be fine in general. They're backed by you. Circle is a slave to the U.S. government in terms of treasury holdings and purchasing. Absolutely. The U.S. government's going to make sure that Circle survives, in my opinion. That chart looks absolutely delicious. That chart looks absolutely delicious. The chart is scary. The connections, the people behind it, this thing is here to stay. So honestly, I want to buy this chart. I'm not scared of that chart. There's a lot of structural strength behind Circle that I think is going to be fine in the long term. Shout out to Crypto Stevo, another one of my favorite human beings in the crypto realm. Put out this coffee, cleavage, whatever. There's only a few DeFi tokens that have seen their TVL increase over the last 30 days. Ondo and Morpho are two of them. This is a very, very important metric to see. And look, the other big winner, Tether Gold, right? That's not a surprise. Gold has been going absolutely ballistic. Ondo has added a lot to its TVL, but it's going through currently token unlocks from early investors. So let some of the dust settle. See if we can get that, those insiders out of the way and still have the token low, say under 40 cents, and the TVL continued to the up. Then we got an arbitrage opportunity on our hands. And shout out to the communist up in New York. He transferred the New York City into a slum that looks a lot like India in less than a few weeks. So let's give a look at what's going on in New York.
This is the life.
Demonetized for the sound. Let me turn off the sound. So make sure that the sound isn't coming through to you guys. This is what's going on in New York City now that they have elected a literal communist to the platform. Fantastic. I'm not going to wait on Circle, bro. I'm not going to wait. Like, I'm not going to expend all of my buying power at that level where we're at right now, but I'm buying today. I'm selling other things. I'm buying Circle today. Being below release levels, yeah. Proof socialism totally works. Mondani was filmed with Epstein. He didn't come out of nowhere. He did not come out of nowhere. We saw this guy coming from a million miles away. Now, this is also interesting. Pour some liquor out for Californians. They're furious after Democrat officials have planned to tax on miles driven, ranging from $1,200 to over $4,000 per year on families. For the love of God, why support communist regimes if you're not a communist? If you're in California, you think you can vote your way out of it? Probably not. Probably not. So yeah, it's the system works great for the elite, sucks for the citizens, though, right? Newsom planning to destroy his own state even more than he already has, and the political partisanship, the chaos that's being built by idiots and assholes, just like Billie Eilish, who was seen here at the, what is this, like the Grammys? Let's listen to Billie Eilish. These are the retards that are going to stay in California.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
Yes, you go, girl. Oh, yes. She's looking for acceptance, acknowledgement. She knew it was a throw up. She knows that everyone's got to vote.
Yeah, it's just really hard to know what to say and what to do right now. And
No, not you dumb bitch. You had this plan for years. Probably getting paid off to say this shit. And honestly, it's not stolen land. It's conquered land. We won. We didn't steal. We won. Okay, that is what it is. Bunch of pricks. If America's so bad, just leave. If America's such a horrible place, just go. Right. And this is a shout out to her. This is her house, surrounded by none other than a massive wall. I suspect that she will call the police if you climb this wall. And these are the double standards that these foolish entertainers get to exist on. I'll call out bullshit. It's crazy. I'm not going to stand for it. If you came here expecting to not get any cultural points from me and just stick to only crypto, you're not going to find that. You are going to find my cultural viewpoint. It's not, I am completely black-pilled, right? The Trump administration has like furry conventions going on at Mar-a-Lago. They're planning these great, and I'm a fan of hotels. I like nice hotels, but to have Jared Kushner out there just shilling Gaza Plaza Trump East for the children of Gaza, right? No, friend of the channel, Billie Eilish, friend of the channel, Trump, all of it. It's so insane. You're going to find my nuanced approach and how I'm digesting all this information, because this is a 20-headed hydra of things happening at the same time. I'm going to focus on it. Don't get me started on the casinos, Billy. Oh my gosh. So in this time frame, the chart's a little scary. Maybe people are running away, right? The people with short-term mindsets, they're going to run away. It's fine, you know. But the long-term vision that we've had in the blockchain basement has proved itself time and time again. I am not afraid of the situation. We're knocking on the door of price to produce right now, and it's feeling like we just tapped potentially the bottom, folks. So take it as you may. I love you guys. Jelly Roll was absolutely awesome at the Grammys as well. All glory to God. Jesus Christ. He completely went the opposite direction of all those other assholes that took the stage, the podium, to just basically bash the country that they live in. It's crazy. So, you know, I'm a believer in America. I love this country. We have the best resources on the planet. We have the best economy. We have the best people, believe it or not. No matter what the media tries to sell you, we have the best people here in the U.S. Stay bullish on where you live. And if you don't like it, leave. Love you guys.